caught my wife cheating with her boss, so I got my revenge by exposing them to investigators and getting them arrested. I recently discovered that my wife of 5 years and partner of 8 years has been having an affair with her boss. We have 2 children together, and I'm completely at a loss of what to do. She is military, so we have all of our health care through her. I'm terrified of losing all of our benefits, but I can't forgive what I found on her phone when I went through it. The person she got caught on isn't the only guy she was talking to and flirting with. There were 3 to 4 other men on her phone I found her flirting with. I know she deletes her messages, so there is more than I have been able to find. When I confronted her, she said she was going to destroy herself and is now in a psychiatric facility for 2 weeks, and I'm alone with the kids trying to handle everything on my own. I'm currently a full-time student and have been struggling with getting my assignments and on time and taking care of everything else. She keeps saying she is sorry and doesn't want to live without me, but I know she is still lying to me about things she doesn't know I have proof of. I'm just spiraling all over the place and haven't had a chance to process everything since confronting her last week. Since I've been taking care of the kids, I don't know what to do. A voice in my head just keeps telling me I never should have confronted her. Another keeps telling me I should just try to move on. And another is telling me I can never forgive someone who hurt me like this. I don't know what to do, and I just need support or advice. I want to be strong enough to leave, but I'm so afraid. Edit. Y'all, I just wanted to say this is the best effing subreddit I've ever found. I found this place a few days ago from a person posting in another sub their story to get enough karma to post here. I was effing spiraling an hour ago when I made the post, and you all are helping me feel so much stronger. I really needed all this support, and I appreciate everything everyone has said. Thank you. Some comments and sorry you're going through this crap. Did you report her superior officer yet? Why should he get away with having a hand in destroying your family? And for the health insurance, I believe she would have to at least carry your children. Are you thinking she will lose all her insurance? I did report him, and he has been arrested so far. She was also arrested and will likely be kicked out, losing her medical benefits because of this too. That's one of the hardest parts. Listen to those of you who tell you that she didn't even stop lying to you after being caught. So stop listening to those who try to convince you that it's worth it. If she had regretted having had an affair where there were feelings with a single man, it would still be terrible. But she is nothing more than a piece of meat that passes from hand to hand in the troops, and that becomes proud of it. Maybe even separated, you will still have the benefits you mentioned. Taking into account the serial cheater she is, another thing you can screw with her boss. You know that, right? Yes, I'm currently destroying his life. He is an officer and she is enlisted, and that's a big deal. I turned over my recording of her confessing to having sex with him to the investigators. They can't let it go. The effing dude lives down the street, and I felt like this was the only way I could let it go, knowing someone else would hold him accountable so I don't need to. I'm sorry this happened to you and your children. What do you want to do? Do you want to reconcile, or do you want to get divorced, or do you want to stay married in name only? I have no idea what I want to do. I'm all over the place. I want to put my head down and forgive and move on, but our entire social group knows. I want a divorce, but I'm terrified of being alone with the kids and losing all the benefits. I don't know if I could stay married in name only, but maybe a part of me feels like she is still manipulating me and might just try to play for time. Whereas right now, the courts and everyone is on my side because of the proof. Update. I just wanted to update everyone since this community has been extremely supportive, and I've had a few people reach out. Before my wife had checked into the psychiatric hospital, we had talked about doing things amicably and even going to counseling to try and save our marriage. She was released this week on Wednesday, but had for the week prior gone radio silent. No calls to check on the kids, no calls to check on me or anything else. When she finally did call, it was a brief 2-minute phone call where she asked if she got anything in the mail, and when I said no, she hung up. That for me was what finally set me over the edge. I just kept thinking I'm out here trying to take care of all our bills, watch where I'm spending money, cut back on non-essentials, get the kids to their extracurricular activities, and figure out how I'm going to survive because I was the full-time student stay-at-home parent. Meanwhile, she is just doing whatever, and her boss is down the street just cozy in bed, not worried about what they did to my children's and my own lives. So I contacted my attorney and told him to start the paperwork, and I wanted primary custody, child support, in the house. He told me I had an extremely strong case, and after a nice retainer of $10,000, I started down the divorce road. When my wife was released from the hospital, she came back to the house and we had a long talk about our relationship and moving forward. I told her if she was serious about reconciling, then she needed to prove to me she was willing to put some skin in the game. From all accounts I've heard, she was planning on screwing me in divorce court in a couple of months if she hadn't been caught and running off with this guy. I let her know I was told as much and told her from my perspective, you were planning on hurting me as much as you could, but the dice didn't roll in your favor, and now you are looking for the security because you are in serious trouble. I told her to find an apartment, and we have 60 days for divorce to be finalized in our state. We could try marriage counseling, but I need to protect myself so I can be the best dad possible for my children. If she wanted to fix things, she needed to show me that she wasn't planning on ruining my life and give me the space I need to heal. Maybe someone down the road, therapy can fix things internally for me and possibly between us, but for right now I know she is still withholding information and she is still lying. I held her hand when she was sick and needed infusions at the hospital. I carried her to bed on the nights she was in too much pain to walk, and it wasn't enough for her. She chose what she did, and now she is dealing with the consequences. Her family came out to watch her for a few days when she got released, and they are obviously taking her side with things. She either manipulated them or more likely the entire family is just ethically bankrupt. When the process server gave her the paperwork, she tried taking the kids, but I told her she couldn't. Her family tried blaming me and telling me I was messed up for doing this, but I told them I had a right to react how I chose in response to what she did. She took pretty much everything of hers from the house and left last night, and it's been radio silent since. I'm writing this as my kids play with their toys in the other room. My assignments have all been turned in on time. I'm still holding a 4.0 GPA. The laundry is almost done. The dishes are drying and dinner is already set for tonight. I've made every practice for them in the last 2 weeks, and I've kept the house clean and even found some time for myself last Friday night. I don't know who will read this message, but I just wanted to tell you it can be done. I have no idea how I'm going to make it moving forward, but I'm going to. To all the beautiful people who messaged me when I needed it, and the people who took time out of their nights the last few weeks to help me when I was a mess of anger, grief, and depression. Thank you. The people here gave me the push I needed to stand up for myself and not accept living in hell to stay with someone who only loved the things I provided for them and never me. This is all far from over, and when I have more information I'll post it here so someone in the future can find it and know things can be okay even if it hurts now. I leave this post with some of the best advice I've gotten in the last 2 weeks. You aren't in love with her. You are in love with a lie she showed you to get what she wanted. Take the time to grieve the loss of the relationship. The person you thought you knew is gone, and it's okay. Okay to not be okay about that. Better to face the poison today on your own terms than it is to hide from it and let it slowly destroy you for the rest of your life. Relevant comments. Are you going to report her boss? Yeah. They are both seriously in deep crap. I guess I should have put that in the post. Both were arrested and charged with multiple articles under the UCMJ. Take care of yourself, man, and don't let anyone ruin your peace. You chose respect, dignity, and morals over fake false love. She's already painting me as the bad guy to other people, like some people in the last post said she would. Pretty interesting how she always leaves out that the reason I initiated the divorce is because she got caught having a physical affair with her boss and multiple emotional affairs with other men. Does her family know, or will you eventually tell them? It sucks the way that they are treating you. If she was arrested and charged for the affair with her boss and fired, won't her family get information about this? Do the kids know what's going on? Did they see their mom when she came to get her stuff? I'm happy that you're getting through this while trying to keep saying at the same time completing university courses plus taking care of your kids, the house, bills, and yourself is a tall order, and you're doing great with the voice of Tony the Tiger. Her mom and her sister are here right now. I've told both of them about the affairs and that she is in serious trouble, but that was about it. I asked her if she went into details with them, and she said no. So I'm sure she is manipulating them. If it wasn't for my kids, I would already have cut them out of my life. If they continue acting how they are, though, that will probably happen, unfortunately, because they are already showing signs of poisoning the kids. I doubt they will ever hear from the military since they wouldn't look and the military wouldn't reach out like that. As far as the kids go, they were kept mostly out of the way watching a movie while she packed. They don't really understand what's going on yet because they are young, 3 and 5. For the last 2 weeks, Mom was at the doctor since she always had medical appointments anyway. Today she is at her sister's house, but that answer won't work forever. I wish she had stopped to think about what she was going to do to the kids before she decided to sleep with her boss, because I have no idea how to explain to my kids that Mom and Dad can't live together anymore. I always made sure my kids knew my wife was the love of my life. When my daughter said, "Mommy, is your true love you are going to be with her forever and ever," the other day, I started crying in the car. Story 2. She confessed 3 months ago. Our marriage was rocky before this. They had a long-standing emotional affair. I spoke out against many times, each time either gaslight or minimalized. We have 2 young kids and a nice home. My family is pretty avoidant of divorce and wants me to work it out. Lots of family broken home trauma. When I first heard, I felt relief. I finally had a good reason to leave, but I still cannot. We did a bit of therapy, and I've been in one-to-one therapy for over 7 years. Her reasons, according to her, were mental health, I medicated bipolar, death of a loved one, and insane philosophical ideas about fidelity. She was on self-slaughtering watch by her therapist during the run-up to her telling me, "I feel trapped, hurt, bewildered, rage, shame, etc." She is apologetic, but I just don't think I can trust again. I don't feel love for her anymore and fantasize about her leaving. I don't think I have the balls to leave. I also lost a parent in the last 12 months and was the caregiver for final year. I sometimes fantasize about cheating myself, but won't, especially knowing how much pain it causes. Really stuck here and need advice and support. Update. She took the kids to Brothers after I said I want a trial separation. She wants to reconcile. I want to know myself again and recover from years of abuse and caretaking and off to do fun crap. Kids are having fun, and me and SDBX are talking fine. The support I got here is unexpected and amazing. I don't have words. I will continue to update and check and just wanted to share. Update. Okay, so first off, thank you from the bottom of my heart to this community. Your insights, suggestions, and encouragement have been a continual source of strength and hope. I asked my wife for a divorce. She went through an emotional process, but began to talk amicably about how that looks for her. She took the kids out of town for a few days to give me space. This is what I asked for. We own a house and have 2 young kids, so splitting off physically is a difficult option. When she was gone, I drank a little bit. Context: I had 15 years of sobriety and she has 16. We met in a. Okay, so I told her because I believe in honest transparency, and she took it okay. Well, I drank a few more times, always when the kids are asleep, and there is one sober parent in the house. Well, I told her again as I was starting to feel like she was making real changes, and I didn't want to hold secrets if we were to men at. She is in a fear spiral now, and I am back at, well, we clearly don't work, let's divorce mode. I often wonder if I am drinking to push her away because I am afraid of leaving and hurting her and the kids. The drinking is pretty responsible, but due to our context, she equates any drinking as dangerous. Anyway, I feel stuck and a bit crazy. It's so hard to imagine life and or out of this marriage of 10 plus years. I'm waiting on some cash, and she wants to sell the house if we split so there is enough money for both of us to take care of our kids on our own. UG, what a mess. Looking for support. Update. So for anyone following my threads, I've put the bottle down. Thanks for the tough love. I see clearly that booze will stimulate any personal issues while creating brand new ones. Luckily, I have 20 plus years of recovery experience to bolster my one day at a time resolve. Doing 90 over 90, working with a sponsor and asking for help or helping me to rebuild myself. Standing up for my needs and experience is teaching me I've been abused for a long time in my marriage. My wife has been an unmedicated bipolar person for a long time, at an intense trauma and BPD symptoms, and you can guess what my life gas been like. This roller coaster of chaos and unmet needs has distorted my view of myself and the world. My therapist told me my wife was seeking outside our marriage over 6 years ago, but so strong was my attachment hunger I didn't want to believe the truth. My gut was screaming at me every second of the day. Now that I am honoring myself and experience, I am beginning to feel whole. I am beginning to work against decades of conditioning that has kept me sick and abusable. I'm loving my kids because I am free to be with them how I choose need to be. I am doing what I love because I owe it to myself, not because I'm worries about judgment or rejection. My recovery is real because I am not lying to myself, trying to uphold another's story about me. In short, I am growing up at 40. Relevant comments. You're still saying my wife? Does it mean you are still together? Because if so, please leave, mate. If the role were reversed and you heard of a man who ignored his wife, cheated on her and treated her like trash, would you tell the wife to stay? Otherwise, good for you for finally choosing yourself. But divorce is probable. I can't afford to leave, and neither can she. We haven't worked out details, and I haven't spoken with a lawyer yet. It's pregame right now. I'm building conviction as well. She cheats, she lies, she demands I take care of her, and now she is divorcing me. This woman is a nightmare. Our attempts were weak and feeble. Right when she realized she was going to be held accountable, she went into full attack mode. Just like every time I brought up my feelings across our marriage, gaslighting, blame shifting, projections. I just want all this to be over. She wants mediation because she is broke. She had been dressing hot and being elusive. My God, at least I know I am making the right choice. Update. Okay, so I wanted the divorce. She cheated and lied, but I didn't want to start a race to the bottom for both of us. The sensible thing was to try an informal separation to see how it feels and see what issues come up. Not a petition with outrageous requests, inaccurate disclosures, and a refusal to talk about it outside of a free mediator's office. We don't have money, make about the same, and are both students with small kids. How is forcing a settlement in the next few months, paying 100% of the bills separately, managing work and childcare, paying court fees, depending on the rental market, etc., fair? She is on disability for bipolar. She won't talk to me but is depending on us working it out. She thinks I can just move out, pay a rent and half a mortgage, stay in call to keep childcare, work full-time, pay her alimony and support, and all she has to do is ask and wave a wand. I can't even focus on anything, and I am expected to do it all. I'm barely sleeping and am living in a house with a crazy person. Update. K. All I posted about a year ago when my wife confessed to a physical affair with a coworker and my then best friend. She was super depressed, made some changes, and said all the right things. We joined couples therapy, healed some stuff, and created a better communication pattern than ever. We still fight. She still feels abandoned, controlled, unloved, at a glance or subtle tone. I made a commitment to not react back. She is interpreting my response as abandonment, cruel, unloving. I listen each week to tell our therapist what an unloving person I am and how manipulated she feels. She has a lot of childhood trauma and addiction issues. My therapist, who has heard it all from me, thinks she has BPD. He has met her. Okay, so why am I posting? Well, any reminder of the pain I felt before the affair. There was a ton, screaming, kicking me out of the house, pushing for polyamory, insisting she should be allowed to flirt with men. Sends me back to I just can't do this anymore. I have been her caretaker. She has been diagnosed with bipolar. She did stop taking her meds for 7 years, and the one to fix it, say sorry, is exhausting. This month, I just stopped doing that. The result is I'm not loving her. I am abandoning her. It's a line. I'm married to a 5-year-old. She doesn't want me to post on Reddit. She doesn't want me to tell anyone how I feel about her. Her image is important to her. She feels betrayed by me even seeking support. It's a nightmare. So, I'm thinking divorce again. A year later, help. Story 3. My wife and I have been married for 18 years. We are both 36 years old. Although we've had our ups and downs with separation and near divorce, we've managed to stay together. We had kids, 20, male, 17, female, 11, female. Very young, which is why we got married so young. Marriage never crossed my mind growing up, but after our unplanned pregnancy, it was the right thing to do. About a year into our marriage, I was working out of state. She had an affair and had gotten pregnant. I thought I could forgive and forget, so I stayed. But life is never that easy. That was 17 years ago, when I raised my daughter as my own, but I was never able to forgive her. It's always been in the back of my mind, eating away. We have tried marriage counseling twice before, which didn't really do much, just bring the past to the surface but no solution. This is what caused our near divorce before. But when I left, the feeling of being alone without my kids made me come back and try to make it work again. Although my wife and I don't argue or fight, have date nights regularly, and a healthy sex life. I hate being married. I would have never thought in a million years that I would have been married this long. I do not see a long-lasting marriage as an accomplishment, no offense to lifelong partners. I honestly just do not love her. She is not the type of woman that I wanted to spend my life with. But I never wanted our kids to grow up without both parents together, which is why I stayed this long. I believe that having both parents present significantly affects your children's development in a positive way. Even though I've been wanting a divorce and have been planning on it once my 11-year-old turns 18, within the past year, the feeling has intensified. I just can't see myself leaving again because the feeling of sleeping in another home away from my kids destroys me. Sorry for the long post. I just had to tell someone. To the earlier comments, I left the details of the affair out because my thinking is that if I choose to forgive her, then I should choose to forget it also, and bringing it up would be throwing it in her face, which is something I don't think is right. Some relevant comments. Shared custody kind of sucks, but I can say it doesn't suck forever. When you don't have them, allow yourself to have a life. This is the time you have to work on yourself, explore hobbies, and eventually start dating. I miss my boy when he's with his mother, but it seems like we have more quality time when he is with me. Also, even when he's with his mom, we still play heads or something most evenings. As someone who grew up with parents who had shared custody of me, I am very happy my parents were divorced. They would have been absolutely miserable together, and I would have probably been sad only seeing half of my family. However, there are things they should have done differently and better. Resentment unfortunately does build over time and can destroy a marriage. 7 years may be too long. Agree to never tell our kids the truth, and it might be best to seek a divorce instead of wasting 7 years on both ends. Though through DNA testing, the daughter will likely find out one day, but by then, it's her mother's duty to talk. Make sure that is clear too before you seek divorce. Just advice. Good luck. I promise. The kids know their parents are headed for divorce. Adults forget how observant kids are about family dynamics. Kids have to be that observant to survive.